Hello, welcome to my review of Martyr by Kaveh Akbar. As you can tell from my annotations, I had a lot of thoughts on this one, so let's dive in. The book Martyr is written by an Iranian-American author. You can really feel that duality of his American/Iranian identity running through the novel. In this book, we follow Cyrus, who is a man in his 20s who is obsessed with the idea of death. His mother died in a plane crash when he was a baby, and it was a plane shot down by the US, and his father died when he started college. He wants his death to mean something, and he reflects a lot on the culture that he comes from, which focuses a lot on the importance of martyrdom and how being a martyr isn't something that's just acknowledged, but it's specifically rewarded. One day he comes across this exhibition in a museum where this woman who is dying from cancer decides to stay in the museum for people to come and ask her questions about dying, about what it feels like. And obviously this is something that really appeals to Cyrus because of how obsessed he is with the idea of death. And through these conversations we get to see how he starts to interpret his life and his death. There are so many POVs in this book, and usually I'm not a fan of books with lots of POVs. However, they were done so well because every character is a little eccentric. This is the first book that I've read by Kaveh Akbar. I found his writing lyrical. There are sections in this book that feel unnecessarily irreverent. I'm all for authors being creative and provoking the reader from a reader's perspective. I think that works really well. I just think there is a fine line, and sometimes authors do cross that fine line. So there were moments in this story where I felt like I was pulled out of the story because I couldn't overlook some of the disrespect towards the things that I hold sacred. And this is not me saying you can't write about religion, you can't be critical of religion. I've read lots of books which are heavily critical on the concepts of religious ideologies. I just finished reading The Handmaid's Tale, and that goes in hard about how a religion can be really suffocating and oppressive. So that's my only criticism of this book. That said, I do think the topic of discussion in this book is excellent. So much food for thought. It does make you wonder about what death really means and what legacy you will leave behind after you're no longer here, and what death means to you as an individual whilst you are alive. This book does make you think about all these things. If stories about belonging, cultural inheritance, rebellion appeal to you, then I think you will enjoy this book. If you've read this book, let me know what you thought of it. Thanks for watching.